So what we have discussed till now, let me summarize that and then we will start our new topic. So we started off with understanding what is SAP. Okay, we understood what is SAP S4HANA. We understood why HANA is faster. We understood what is SAP Fiori, right? And then in our last session, or maybe even before that, we understood the differences between SAP ECC and S4HANA. Okay, from the technical point of view, although from the functional side, we will be covering these differences individually for each module. And then in our last session, we understood the SAP ASAP methodology, SAP Activate methodology, and what is the difference between SAP ASAP and SAP Activate. Okay, so these are the basic things. Like whatever is your role, whatever role you are playing in your organization when it comes to SAP as a SAP consultant, you should be aware about all these different things, irrespective of which module you are going for. Right? So these are the common things that you must know throughout your SAP career. Now, we understood SAP ASAP and SAP Activate. What are we going to do today is we are going to start working on the project. Okay, so if you want to be benefited out of this training, don't think only the whatever discussions we are having in the class, that is not enough, right? As I told you, whenever we will be starting the practicals, so maybe today or tomorrow, I'll be providing you the system access also. So you have to think in the way like you are a consultant and you are working for a particular organization. Okay, you can consider any dummy organization that you want to consider. Think about their scenarios. If you are coming from the sales background, if you want to go for SAP SD module, you have to understand how exactly the sales organizations works, how exactly the sales department works, what could be the different scenarios under the sales. Similarly, as a MM consultant, you need to understand from the purchasing point of view. As a FICO consultant, you need to understand from the accounting point of view. So you can consider any dummy organization that you want, and you have to set up the same thing in the system. Whatever I'm going to show you in the system, I'm expecting you to do the same thing for at least 2-3 times so that you can get the hands-on and you can feel that this is how exactly the SAP S4HANA or SAP ECC projects work. Okay, so whenever you are working on the system in the demo project, you have to understand under which phase what are the different activities that you are going to do. Okay, so it is not sufficient to just configure something in the system. You have to understand in which phase you will be doing the configurations, and before you start the configurations, which phase you should be having clear in your mind. So simple question: if you want to do the configurations in the system, if you want to change something in the system, if you want to create something in the system, in under which phase you will start that activity? Under which phase you will go and change the system as per the customer's requirement? We understood the SAP
Development.
ASAP. Sorry, Vivek. Is there
Development.
anything called? Is there anything called as
Realization
development?
phase.
Okay, yeah, Iqbal. So I think many of you have told development. Is there any phase called as development in SAP ASAP or SAP Activate? Can you just tell me what are the different phases in SAP ASAP and what are
Realize
the
phase.
in Activate? Realization, right? Realization is the answer. See, first phase is if you're talking about SAP ASAP, it is initial preparation, which is in SAP Activate, it is called as prepare. Okay, what is the second phase in SAP ASAP?
Explore.
Business
Explore.
blueprint.
Yeah, SAP, sorry, Explore is correct, but that is in Activate. If you are following SAP SF, it was business blueprinting, which is now called as Explore phase. What is the next phase?
Realization.
Realization is
Realization.
in, and in SAP Activate, it is called as Realize.
Realize.
Right. What is the next one?
Final preparation.
And
Right.
preparation.
Right. Final preparation is in ASAP, and in SAP Activate, it is called as
Deploy.
Deploy. Right. And last one, which is
Go
when you
live.
start go live. When you start doing the transactions in the system, you go live, and it is in called as
Run.
run phase in SAP Activate. Right. So as I told you, there is not much from the functional point of view. SAP FICO or SAP SD or SAP MM, you don't have to do much during the initial preparation phase. Normally, these are all project management related activities which are required by the management so that they can start working on the project. So maybe you will be part of this phase, because if your manager needs your help in planning something, you can definitely help him out in that. But that is normally done by the senior consultants who has knowledge, who has experience working on multiple projects, and he can help the project managers in the preparation phase. But otherwise, most of the time, as a functional consultant, you would be starting working from the business blueprinting or explore phase. So if you are using SAP SF methodology, if you are working on SAP ECC projects, then you will go for business blueprinting phase. But if you are working on SAP S4HANA projects, you would be working on the explore phase. So let's consider we are here. Okay, so even whatever I will be showing you in the system, I will be showing you from the project point of view. Okay, and whenever you are going to practice in the system, you also have to put it in this place that currently I am in this phase. Let me plan first what I want to do, who is my customer, what I need to set up in the system. Once you finalize this, then you will again go to the realize, where you will start the server, you will log in into the server and doing some configurations using SPRO. Right, so that is called as realization phase. So before you jump start to realize, for each and every scenario that you want to configure, you have to think that I'm in the explore phase. Right, so currently in the demo project, you may not have the real customer. You have to consider some dummy customer. You have to identify what exactly are the different scenarios this customer has, and based on that, you will document something, and then you will go to the realization phase. Okay, documentation doesn't needs to be a very detailed document. It can be just a small Word document where you will write that, okay, for my dummy project, this is my customer. These are the different branches this customer has. I'll tell you what exactly are the informations which you need to collect in your Word or maybe PPT, so that you are sure that what exactly you want to achieve out of this project. Okay. So in my case also, what I will do is I will explain you the explore phase. The details we already know, but now we will take a practical example. We will take one single customer, and using that customer, we will try to implement SAP for that customer throughout our project. Okay, so in any project, there is MM also, SD also, FICO. These are the three basic modules that most of the customers are implementing. Okay, so we will not segregate. We will not take a separate thing for MM, separate thing for SD, and separate thing for FICO. Our project is a single project, although we will be having sessions differently, but ultimately at the end of this course, we should have a complete system, okay, which is taking care of the sales, taking care of the purchasing, and the accounting also. Right, so that is something which we want to achieve at the end of this course. So now let me go to the explore phase. Just assume we are in explore phase and we need to implement a lot of functionalities. Okay, so in our scope, we have SAP Finance, we have SAP Sales, and we also have purchasing, inventory and purchasing, you can say inventory management and purchasing. So in short, this is FICO, this is sales is nothing but SD. These are the old names. Now in S4HANA, they are called as SAP S4HANA Financials. I'll not say FICO anymore. It is Financials. This is sales, okay, and inventory management and purchasing, or maybe let me write it in the SAP S4HANA language. It is called as sourcing and procurement. Okay, so maybe I'll do this thing. This is Financials, which was called as FICO earlier. This is sales, which was called as SD earlier, and this is sourcing and procurement, which was called as MM earlier. So let's assume in our project, these are the three modules that we need to implement. Okay, so the
Sorry,
first
Vishal.
thing,
So can
yeah,
we say that it will be O2C, P2P, and R2R?
that is also older names. So maybe we can use this, that is not a problem. So
Yeah,
financials are called as R2R, which is nothing
yeah,
but record to report. Okay, so this is very important. I have seen many such scenarios when uh, in the interviews you are giving the interview of FICO and your interviewer is asking what you know about R2R. So they feel that this is a new terminology and they say, no, I have not worked on R2R. So R2R is another name of SAP FICO. It is called as record to report. Thanks for bringing this to notice. This is very important because otherwise O2C and P2P is very clear, but R2R is very uncommonly used, but that is also very important terminology which is used by some of the companies. So when it is comes to sales, it is called as order to cash, O2C, OTC or O2C. Both are okay. When it comes to sourcing and procurement, this is P2P, procure to pay, PTP or P2P. It is all okay. So this is nothing but procure to pay. Okay. So let's,
I I had a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, in terms of my understanding, order to cash includes the sales order cycle as well as the accounts receivable cycle.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, uh, invoice the accounts receivable is in FICO,
Mm-hmm.
and but the sales order shipment pricing thing is in SD. And similarly for sourcing and procurement, I think the purchase order cycle, PO and requisitions, this thing is in MM, but accounts payable is in FICO. So
Right.
I do you think order to cash equals to SD, P2P equals to MM? Is it the right comparison?
It is right. I'll tell you why. So many companies, see, definitely if you are only looking from the individual module point of view, then definitely there are few things which will not come here, which will be not the direct part of sales, but they will belong to finance. Similarly, within procure to pay, as you said, there are some things which are related to the MM module, but there are some other things which are actually belonging to the FI module. Okay, but the thing is, when you are working in the company, you have to understand the integrations. See, SAP is an integrated software. Okay, so if you say that I am a SD consultant, I know how to create a sales order, I know how to create a billing, but I don't know how to pay, how to receive the payments from the customer, or maybe I don't know how to how to see whether the accounting document is created or not. That is not my responsibility. That is something which a FI consultant has to do. That is the problem. I'm not saying that is wrong. That is a problem in the industry. I have worked on many projects where, as long as it is error related to sales order, as long as it is error related to delivery, SD consultant will solve it. But as soon as he hears that, okay, the problem is with the billing, no, billing is not my part. Billing is FI part. So it should go to